Alright, so we got a lot of crap out here in the shop, alright, and I've made an executive decision, alright, and obviously Jubal's not going anywhere. We know what we got to do to Jubal. We got to put the engine and transmission back together, put it back in the truck, and then try a couple of 13 different methods I'm going to try to do to adjust the clutch fork travel issue. Uh, I don't really want to film a series of videos just trying to figure that out. There's been a lot of videos I've already filmed on that. I'd like to do something that is, successful, right? So instead of just struggling on that some more, because I have several ideas I think will work, but it'll just be a process of elimination, a lot of trial and error, weeping and gnashing of teeth, as Revelation says. But either way, I got to thinking the other day, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna put the F head into the two-wheel drive Willys. It's already got an exhaust system there that's in good shape. It's already got its transmission in there that I have no idea if it's any good or not. I've never looked inside it. So we're going to pretend that the transmission's fine right now. And if it's not, then there is solutions for that as well. But we're just going to pretend like it's all right. This F-head right here, this is the one that several years ago I did several videos on. I changed most of the gaskets in it. I put a new rear main seal in it. It's got a new oil pan gasket, valve cover gasket. It's got a new time and chain gasket on it. I cleaned out its oil pan, inspected it real good. I've heard this engine run. I know it runs good. And then this engine behind me over here, this is the F-head that came out of Florida. And that one was supposedly a good running engine that was in a CJ3B, and then a tree fell on it. And the guy I got it from said he jerked the engine and out of it before he scrapped the Jeep. And he kept this one in his shop for a long time. Anyway, I ended up with it, and it was stuck when I got it from him, even though I saw it where it was at. It was in a dry, really nice shop. It was stuck, and I got it broke free, but it has no compression, so I assume it's torn its rings, or maybe it was already real low on compression before he pulled it out. I don't know. But it's got a lot of components on it that I need for this engine. All right. So what we're going to do is, I've got all my tools, the ones that I knew for a fact I would need, laid out here on the table. We got our sockets and wrenches, our scraper blades, our Ziz wheel, Permatex, which fortunately, I'd already ordered a lot of stuff for this engine back when I was messing with it all the time. So I've got, all this came from Kaiser Willys. I bought all this long before I was affiliated with them in any way. But anyway, I've got brand new spark plugs for it. I've got brand new spark plug wires. I've got 99% of the gaskets. So we've got a water pump gasket, brand new, from Kaiser. Fuel pump gasket, thermostat gasket. I've even got the manifold, the exhaust manifold. I've got one of them, the center one. I've got it. The other two are missing. I don't know why. They should have been in the kit with all my, on the shelf, keep them in stock parts, and for some reason they're not there. So I'm going to have to order another exhaust manifold gasket set because I've only got this one. I'll have to see if I can order them from Kaiser. But either way, I'm going to have to get those. But we've got the rest to go ahead and start doing some stuff to this engine. Now, I don't have unlimited money, so I would like to order a whole bunch of stuff from Kaiser, brand new parts and water pump and all that. I don't have the excess funds for that right now. I've got a mortgage and stuff now, and like endless things just keep coming my way, and all of it can only be solved with money. So the plan is to get this engine running and in the truck with as little like actual parts being bought as possible. I got the door open even though it's freezing outside for you. It's for you, so that there's enough light in here, because I love you that much that I'm trying to accommodate where y'all might could see something. Just remember that. If anybody ever tells you the Right Clay Traveler doesn't love you, just remember I do. I'm going to take these bolts out and clean up this surface right here with the die grinder. Some of these bolts on anything like this you're doing, some of them are different lengths. These three are the same length, but one of these goes into the water jacket. In certain areas, on water pumps and different things, that one bolt will be drastically shorter than the other one, so you need to pay attention in where those go, so that you don't crack the block running it in or strip it out or whatever, because some of them do go into liquid, some of them don't. I need to blow this out in here because there's dust and crap all in here. And then we're gonna clean this mating surface up right here, because I painted over it. And for that, I use these. These come from Harbor Town, also known as Harbor Freight. But anyway, these work pretty good. They don't last forever, but they work pretty good, and you don't want to scar your mating surface. So these are gritty enough to do it, but usually if you're careful, they don't destroy anything. And this is one of the best things I ever bought, a battery-powered die grinder. It's much quieter than an air-powered one. It's quite nice. It's expensive, but it's very nice. I'm going to put this microphone somewhere more over here so it's not quite as loud while I do this. If you look right here on this thermostat housing, you'll notice there's severe pitting. All right, there's severe pitting. Now, a lot of people will tell you, just clean it really good and put the gasket on it and all that. They'll tell you, just put the gasket on that right there. Don't use any Permatex. Well, this surface isn't a Virgil anymore. It's pitted up. It's not going to seal like it would have in 1954 or whatever when this engine was made. If you put a thin layer of Permatex on there, it'll fill in those voids and make it a nice sealing surface. Put it on both sides of the gasket. You don't have to go crazy with it, just enough. And that will take care of this pitting. Otherwise, you've got a high probability of putting a new gasket on here, clamping this down, wasting that gasket when you realize it leaks. So I just avoid that altogether, put a little Permatex on it. Surface is pretty much prepped here. We're going to spray some brake cleaner on it, get it cleaned. What I need to do now is I'm going to steal the thermostat out of the L head, because it should be the same one. So we're going to go over here to the L head and take its thermostat off, or take its thermostat housing off, so that we can get it out. Rob it. It should be the same thermostat. These engines, they're different, but the blocks themselves are the same. So it's more than likely the same one. It should be anyway. Plus this one needs a head gasket anyway. So I'm not really worried about taking stuff off of this one right now. I need another Jeep for this one. I want to put this in a flat fender Jeep. So we'll go ahead and take this off real quick. A little tiny dip one. Ooh, wow. It's brittle. This hammer just exploded on me. Huh. Both sides. Well, that hammer's no good. So we're looking for this thermostat up inside here. See, it's got this housing in there. You pull that out, and that's what holds the thermostat up high up inside it. But this is basically a brand new thermostat. That's why we're robbing it out of here. So we're going to take the thermostat, put it right there. We're going to slide this cup back in this thing. We're going to put this back on, just so that we keep up with all our parts here. Trust that it works. Yep, it'll fit on there just like that. Now you could run it without the thermostat, but the thermostat helps keep the engine at an optimal temperature. And you can get away without the thermostat, but it's just better if you got it to go ahead and put it in there. That way you don't have to wonder why your engine's running really hot or really cold or whatever. It helps regulate all that. So we're going to put that in there like that. But first, we're going to blow out this cavity and just try to get all that crap out of there. Alright, couldn't find the blowgun. Found one that doesn't work, but it weren't good enough. So we got this kind of blown out in there. We've got the thermostat. It can go in there like that. And then the different kinds of Permatex cover different things. So you've got oil resistant, fuel resistant, high torque, regular torque, easy removal. There's a whole bunch of different kinds of them. I couldn't find exactly the one that I wanted. I was looking for the one that's specifically for water pumps and thermostat housings. I've got a little tube of this. That's what this is. And then I got this ultra gray, but if you look on the back, it says it covers valve covers, water pumps, intake manifolds, seals, all thermostat housing. So we'll try to use up what's left of this one. And then, first we really need to clean off these bolts just a little bit, get them ready. So let me get the grinder. They don't have to be spotless or anything. We're just trying to get it. It'll save you a little bit of trouble down the road if you clean the threads now. Well, that's not as good as I'd like them to be, but it's good enough. We're not taking this on and off. Now these bolts are weakened from where I took them out before because they're rusted a little bit in the middle, but this isn't a high torque area, so we're not worried about it too bad here. These washers, these lock washers right here are a little bit compromised. I think I got some more. And then we've got our thermostat housing gasket right here. I'll leave that somewhere where it doesn't get oily. Our ratchet ready to go. We're just going to do them snug, you know, we're not going to go crazy. You're supposed to wait a certain amount of time, put it on there, let it tack up, all that. You should probably do that. I don't know that I've ever done it, but you probably should. Now, my thermostat housing is over here. It's got a little chip on it. I do have one on this other engine that I could take off. I could take it out. It has no chip on it. So I might just pop it off real quick because this one will be fine, but I'd rather just be safe. So we'll pop this one off real quick. Off of this engine. These bolts are in better shape too, so I might end up using these because these look better than the ones that I just cleaned. So Yeah, these aren't as bad as them other ones. So. Just be gentle, you know, try not to snap any off. Like in this case, if we broke one off, we're not immediately in need of this engine, so it's not the end of the world. But if I ever end up selling this engine, you don't want them cussing you. This one didn't have a thermostat in it, so that's good. They went a little hardcore with the Permatex. But this housing's in better shape, so we'll use it. It's cold as the dickens. Get this cover cleaned up. It's important to breathe in as much of this as you can. I'm trying to get it mildly cleaner than it is. Go over here to my non-mounted vintage Wilton vise that my brother gave me for Christmas. That I do believe this one's dated 1946. I think is what this one's dated to. You can roll out this inside and it's stamped on the shank in here how old it is. The date code. I think this one's 46. Alright, that's about good. Go back over here again. Spray off this surface a little bit to make sure that it's free of grease. You don't have to go crazy, you just want to make sure you get every chance it can to seal properly. Give it every chance. About like that. Clean paper towel. Wipe that off. So you get that little bit of residue like that. That's what we're trying to get. We want it to seal. We don't want to have to deal with it leaking. Now, we're going to take our little tube of Permatex here. Since the stuff's so dang expensive, we might as well use what's left in this little tube. Our thermostat in our pocket. Let's figure out our orientation on this. It's like that. Yeah, it goes like that. All right. So we'll put that right there, the direction it goes. Put a little bit of this Permatex on here. You don't have to go crazy. A good, even, thin layer is really all that you need. You don't have to go crazy. Just to try to fill in all those imperfections in the ancient metal and put it on your housing. Like I say, there's a certain procedure you're supposed to wait and all that. And like I say, you should probably do that. If you're watching this, you should do that. I never do that. Always wait before I ever put fluid in it, though. I never just slam fluid into it. But I've never had any trouble just going ahead and using, tighten it down is what I mean. What I'm trying to say, if I can get the words out of my mouth. These bolts they're They're not too bad. I should get to talking to the camera and forget to put the thermostat in. That. Some of these bolts do go into fluid. I think this one right here in this back corner does. I've put Permatex on the bolt. There is Permatex and other brands make a thread sealant. I don't have any of that with me right now. So we're just going to rely on the gasket. You just do this kind of random pattern, or not random, but kind of a star pattern. Just snug them all down the same amount. I'm sure there's a torque spec for this. I don't know what it would be, but we're just doing, it feels pretty good. Choking up on the ratchet a bunch so you don't get all that extra leverage. Because I'm notorious about tightening stuff until it's loose again. Really good at that. And we don't want to do that here because these bolts are already ancient and compromised. So, alright, that feels good to me. That should be fine. So now we got new thermostat in there, gasket's new, surfaces are cleaned. Now we can hook a hose to that. Alright, so next we'll go ahead and pull go ahead and pull these bolts right here out from where the water pump goes. Alright, so we're just going to pull these 4 bolts out right here. Clean that surface up. I think we used about all that we had out of this little tube, but that was good. We were able to finish that one part with it. And then we need to loosen the alternator over here. I'm going to have to steal its bracket and all that because it should go right on that F-head. I know this alternator's good because it doesn't have much time on it. So we'll take our belt. We'll need that over there. Now there's probably water in this. That pulley, we'll just leave it on the water pump. Come on. Come on. Boy, it's on there. That's actually good. There we go. No water ran out, which is surprising. But yeah, this is a good water pump right here. That's why we want it. That'll go right on the F head. We'll put our bolts in, like I'm telling you. You want to put your bolts in, because you don't want them come back here to put a new water pump in and go, where the hell is my bolts? I don't know where they are. And then it puts you in a mood, and then you don't finish it. All right? Ask me how I know that. All right? I know how it works. I've played the game long enough. All right, we're going to need these little bolts for our red fan blade. We should be able to steal this apparatus for the alternator, but we'll do that in a minute after we get our water pump assembly put back on. That's pretty good right there. That ain't bad. All right. I'll take our brake cleaner and spray this. I'll spray this. The sucker will go right on here because it's the L head and the F head are the same block. This upper portion, the head and all that stuff's different. There's a couple differences inside, but for all intents and purposes, the F head is a modified L head block. So you got a lot of crossover between the two. Get another tube over here of extremely expensive Thermostats. I wanted ultra gray, but this will work. This is I mean ultra blue, but this stuff right here will work. And if it's going to leak anywhere, it's going to be in these thin spots right here where the gasket gets real thin. Like I say, you want to be conservative with it, but you don't want to miss any spots. So conservative because it's expensive. Right, here's the gasket. It helps if you put it on the correct direction. Also, the Permatex holds the gasket in place for you, which is very nice. It's like an extra set of hands. It's another reason why I like it. Now, sometimes I'll cover the gasket right here with the material, but since I put it on that, it's on the other surface. It's fine. Ease this bad boy on here. And we're going to try to ease it on there, but Feels like the gasket shifted. It's lined up right. There we go, that's better. Alright, we're just going to snug them all up and then go around in a, kind of an equal pattern. Just like we did on the thermostat housing. Feels pretty good. I don't want to break any of them off. Like I say, which is an ongoing battle for me because it's really easy for me to tighten them too much on anything. And it really, most things don't have to be just obscene. That's probably it. I'm going to stop before I tear something up. So there's the water pump on. So we got a thermostat, water pump. Now we can take the alternator off. That'll have, and I mean, it doesn't have to be right now. We can put the pulley on, crank right here. I'll have to look up the torque spec, but we can go ahead and just get it on there, and then we can torque it later. That one fits good, that one does. This right here is 35 millimeter, whatever that is in American. There we go. Things feels a little, I mean, threads feel kind of wonky. That other one's nut might be better. I don't know. This one's nut seems to be kind of compromised. Here's that engine's crank nut. That one feels better. Feels like it goes on a little better. So I reckon we'll use it instead, because the original one here feels compromised. Get it lined up with that keyway, if at all possible. There it is. Kind of gentle, firm, but gentle. Still gotta go more. I'm trying to get it far enough where I can get the nut started and then seat it with the nut. But it's gotta go a little bit more than that to make that dream come true. Let's put this microphone on the water pump right here. Should be enough to get this nut started, which it is. I'm going to turn this way down here. We're going to turn it down to A, which means once it hits a certain amount of resistance, cuts off. We're not torquing it, we're just running this pulley out. Alright, so that's got about that pulley about seated right there. And like I say, we're not going to torque it, we're just going to put this on there. We'll seat it with the auto feature, but then we'll torque it later. And I'm not sure what the torque spec is on this, but I know it's more than whatever I just did right there. And we'll rotate it over, make sure everything's not bound up. Yeah, I don't hear any scrubbing. Yeah, so that should be good. Alright, so we got our pulley on, water pump's on, thermostat housing's on. I'm going to have to investigate this situation on this because I was hoping I could use that bracket, but it does appear to be different. I think it'll be alright, but we'll worry about that another day. I think I've had about enough of this for right now. We'll let all this set up, and then we'll come back when we're moving on to putting other things on the engine. There's no engine in the truck, and by the end of this, there'll be an engine in the truck, and hopefully it'll be running. But right now, we're going to prep this engine. So this is like phase one. We're going to prep the engine, get everything that we need onto it, get it set up, and then we're going to pull the two-wheel drive Willys in here. So I'm going to take a break for a while, then I'll probably come back out here and mess with it some more. So, yep. Yeah, buddy.